Hi, my name is Wade Stein. I'm a Precision Ag Support Rep with CMB Operations. In this segment, we're going to be going over the displays compatible with the Operations Center when uploading data through Data Manager. So the John Deere displays that are compatible with Data Manager are the Gen 4 Command Center and Universal Display, GS3 2630 display, GS2 2600 display. We are also compatible with Climate Field View app. The Ag Leader displays that are compatible are the Integra, Versa, Compass, and N-Command displays. We're also compatible with Precision Planting Gen 1, 2, and 3 displays. Raven, Viper 4, and Viper 4 Plus, as well as Viper Pro displays. Then Case IH, we are compatible with the Pro 300, 600, and 700, the FM 750 and 1000, the XCN 2050 display. Then for New Holland, we are compatible with all the IntelliView displays. TopCon, got the X25, X30, and X35 displays. For Trimble, it's the FMX, CFX 750, and TMX 2050 displays. For Kloss, it's the S10 display, and the CCI got the 100, 200, 800, and 1200 displays. For the displays that have the two dots next to them, those are the beta testing displays, so they'll still work. You just need to upload a little bit of data, maybe a couple fields at a time through Data Manager, and they should work there. All right, and now we're going to go over how to upload data to the John Deere Operations Center using Data Manager. You can download this tool inside the Operations Center under More Tools. So to get started uploading your data, first you'll pick your USB drive, and then you'll pick your organization, and then you'll have your documentation files. You can uncheck them or check them, whichever ones you want to upload. And then once you have the ones you want to upload, you'll just go down to the bottom right hand corner and select Upload.
Hello, my name is Chris Seifert. I'm a Precision Ag Support Specialist based out of the Pipestone, Minnesota store. And today, I will be going over the plan, analyze, and more functions of the John Deere Operations Center. So the first thing I will be going into here today is the plan function. So I'm going to open up the plan, and we've got 4 different sections there. The first would be the Agrian Prescription Creator. Next, we will be going over Crop Planner, Maintenance, and finally, Work Planner. So the first thing I'll be going over and talking with you about is the Agrian Prescription Creator. So the Agrian Prescription Creator is a free software that we're able to go in and create variable rate prescriptions for seeding, for fertilizer prescriptions, and as well as for any sort of application that we are working on. You are also able to create a prescription for prescription tillage. So as soon as you go into your Agrian Prescription Creator, we want to select our application and seeding, and then it will list what organization you have there if you are the only organization. If not, then you would just hit the drop down and select the organization you're wanting to create that prescription for. So we have the Support Center one here. Now next we'll want to select our client. So I'm going to select ISU, which farm name we have. So we'll go in there, select South Farm. And the example that we're going to use today is the South Bluff Farm. So next you'll be selecting what boundary you want to create that prescription in. So for this one, we have a few different boundaries, but just for this example, we're going to use boundary number 1. Now we'll select the prescription source. So we hit that drop down and we can create a prescription based off of average yield, our field operation, our soil survey, or we can freeform those. For this example, out of ease, we'll just select average yield. And then we select what kind of crop we'll be planting this coming season here. So we'll just say it's corn. We want to select those two events. So now it'll actually create that seeding prescription based off of a mixture of those two fields. We'll want to use harvest yield as the last section there. So go ahead and click on that and go over to next. So after we hit next, we're able to go and it brings up this screen here. So now we can see what the organization name is, what the field name is, and we can select and change how many zones we want to have for different levels of seeding rates. So we can select that drop down there under number of zones, and we can select anywhere from 2 zones to 15 zones. For this example, we'll just use 5. So we'll select 5, and the minimum polygon area would be the amount of area that each data point is. So just know that the lower the amount, the more memory it's going to take and more specific it's going to be. So next we'll want to so now we've got our zones. We've got our 5 different zones that we've got here. We've got different levels of our yield. So this is all the yield averaged together of those 2 years of data that we had collected. But so let's say we wanted to change the number of zones to 4. Once we select that and change it, it will actually update the map. So once we select update map, it will update that so that there are no longer 5 different zones. There will now be 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 zones. So next we'll want to go ahead and hit add variety. So now we'll select a product based off of all of the products that we have in Product Manager. I know that Cody went over this earlier today, and we will be going into this. So it has to be added in Product Manager before we select it as a hybrid in here. So let's just say we want to use Pioneer 1151. So we'll want to put our start value here. So let's say on our lowest end, we want it at 25,000 seeds per acre. And then we'll want to, in the fourth, let's just go straight to the 4th one. Let's say top, we want to go 38,000 seeds per acre. Now we can hit distribute up here. So 25,000, 38,000. And then just hit distribute. Basically, it's just saying that it's going to replace all of the values that are currently in there. You just accept that. And now we have it perfectly evenly distributed between the 25,000 and the 38,000. Now, let's say we see a different area in here that we feel is still maybe a little bit too low for our seeding. So let's say we think that this 29,333 seeds per acre is just a little too low. We want to bump that up to, let's say, 30,000. So now we can go in here, we can select that, and just retype in with 30,000 as our seeds per acre. Should be able to hit save in the bottom right-hand corner. Now that we have hit save, it will actually go into our files page, which I will be talking about a little bit later. But that is where you will be able to export all your files, or export that prescription to your tractor wirelessly and save yourself both time and money. As we know in the business, time is money. So let's say we needed to push out that prescription to a wireless enabled tractor, we would be able to go to the files page in order to do that. So go ahead and hit OK, and then we can X out of this. So now that is creating that prescription in the background, and it's processing it up to our files page. So now we're back to the Operations Center again. We can go ahead and select Plan again. And the next thing we'll be discussing here is Crop Planner. So go ahead and select Crop Planner. So Crop Planner is really something that's a very useful tool for if you are wanting to plan out ahead what hybrids are going to go on what ground, or what varieties are going to perform best on what soils. So that is exactly where you would do that. Maybe you sit down with your agronomist and you go through this plan. So first things first, we see that we have 0 selected crop plans. We'll want to add a new season over in the top right there. So the yellow button, and then we select the year, which we'll be using 2021, and then hit save. So now we can see we can plan out a cover crop, we can plan out our first main crop. If we are double cropping, we'll be able to do a second main crop as well. We'll just be using one main crop this time. So go ahead and hit that plus sign right up here. We go to crop. So let's say we are wanting to plant a corn variety or a corn hybrid. So type in corn into that search box and we select corn. Next, we will select the name of the variety. So now we'll be selecting the fields that we're going to be having corn in for this year. So just select 2 or 3 of them here. And then we hit save. Hit save again. So now we can see that 23% of our ground that we have total is going to be a corn crop. Now we can go to that plus sign again. Let's say we've got Liberty Link beans and we've got dicamba beans, both either way. So now we can go in here, select soybeans. And then in the name, we can change that to Liberty Link beans. We select the different fields that we're going to be planting Liberty Link beans into. And then we hit save again. Now we hit save. Now we can see that 23% of our fields are going to have Liberty Link. Okay, let's do one more here. We're going to do dicamba beans. So soybeans again. So dicamba, there we go. Now we're just going to select all the rest of the fields as being dicamba beans. Now we can hit save. So now, let's say you're working with your local co-op or your local person who's doing your sprayer application. You can send them a picture of this map, so click show on map once. But now we can see an aerial view of which fields we're going to have Liberty Link soybeans in and which ones we are going to have dicamba beans in. So we can see that the kind of brownish color, so we can see that the brown right here is our Liberty Link soybeans. You can send this picture or this aerial screenshot of your fields to your local agronomist so that we make sure that we are applying the correct chemical to the correct field. Head back up to our plan. We'll go to maintenance. So maintenance is really anywhere that you would go to really keep track of what you're doing for maintenance on your tractors, on your combines, basically any sort of equipment that you want to do. A lot of the newer tractors and combines, we actually create the maintenance plans for you. We go in and make sure that they'll have a factory plan, so they'll have factory information of what they suggest you would be working on. So let's go into that 9.4. So this is a big overview of all of your different tractors, all your different equipment here. So we can see that this one already has a maintenance plan and it is actually past due. So we have to go into that once we figure that out. But also if you scroll down here, we can see all of the rest of our equipment and create custom maintenance plans or factory maintenance plans for all of those. So let's just scroll back up and go into the one that we've already got created. So we select that, the 9470R. So now we can see all of our different levels of maintenance that we would want to do and continue to complete. Now, let's say we're at 100 engine hours. We're wanting to know what we need to do. If we click on that at 100 engine hours, it will pull up everything that the factory suggests that you do in this maintenance hours. So make sure that you check the coolant surge tank level. Once you're done with that, you can hit the check mark that it's complete. And now you'll see over here that the status shows that it was completed, what time it was completed at, and what date it was completed. So now we've checked the engine oil level, so we'll hit that check mark. Now we can see that it's also fulfilled that task. If you scroll down some more, and let's say we changed, we wanted to take special notes on this particular service, we can click on that, add a note in there, and it will continue to stick with that machine so that we all know how you maintained it, and you're able to keep track of different things there. So let's say, we greased the entire machine, we were able to lube it, and we are good to go there. If you had any pictures or any documents that you wanted to upload, say the cost, maybe you wanted to upload your bill to it, you would be able to go in here and upload that using that plus sign over there where it says photos and documents. The cost, we can enter in what our labor cost was and everything there, and as well as all your parts cost of what it was. So now as we go in here, we can keep track of how much the labor cost, how much the parts cost, and how much it cost in total to do that service interval for that tractor. So we would go ahead and hit save. And now it's all saved in your maintenance plan. So now that we've already done that, we can actually go into our service history for that 9470R. And we can either add a repair. So let's say that we had an unscheduled repair that happened. Stuff happens every once in a while when you're on the farm, and we want to add a repair that was unscheduled. We would go down here in the bottom left and click add repair. And then we would just describe what that repair was, how much it cost, so on and so forth in here as well. So oil filter was loose and it needed to be tightened. So go into the category. We would select what we feel that category would be. We'll say that it's an engine category. We describe it in the notes once again. So we tighten the loose oil filter to stop it from leaking. Now we scroll down, we can enter our labor cost again. We can enter our parts cost. Obviously for this particular one, we wouldn't have had any cost for the parts because we just tightened it up. So it took 25 minutes, 30 minutes, not even, 10 minutes to do it. So cost was only $50 for us. And then we just hit add repair. And it will add it to our service history. So now we can see where that task was. Go ahead and hit OK in the bottom right. And now we've got that recorded here on our service history. So yeah, all right, so let's head back up to plan here. And then the next thing we're going to go over is the brand new Work Planner app. So we'll select that. So the Work Planner is eventually, well, it's basically a way that we can keep track of and continue to plan out all of our work that we're going to be doing in a day. Logistically, it's going to be extremely helpful, especially for co-ops that are trying to do multiple fields of spraying in a day. Basically, you just go in here, you create, let's say, an application up here. So we're under season, the 2021 season. We would go in here, select application. Now we're going to plan an application in the top right. So now we'll select the product here. So click on that. Let's just say we're going to be putting down 32%. And if you had any extra products or a tank mix, you would add that there. Otherwise, we go into more details here. We'll want to select a machine that we're going to be sending this to. In this particular account, we don't have a sprayer or a self-propelled sprayer selected or created, so we're not going to be able to do that here. But let's say we're just going to be spraying with a pull type sprayer. We'll want to select, let's say, the 9470R. We select our implement, which would have to be a sprayer or something like that. We don't have that, so we're just going to select a planter. Now, if you had an operator, so let's say you're managing who's going out to what field, this is where you would select your operator that you had created in Team Manager, like what Cody had gone over earlier today. So yeah, you would select your operator. If you don't have any, in this particular account, we don't have any operators, so we won't be selecting that. If you have a work order number, you would type that in here and it will keep track of that for you as you send that out. If you have any extra special instructions, let's say you wanted to have that applicator enter on the north side of the field, you would be able to type that in here. So enter north side of field, or field on the north side. And your worker will be able to see that specific note as he's going in transport to the next field. So go ahead and hit next. Now we want to select the field that we're going to. So we'll say South Bluff, if that's in here. Yep, South Bluff in the ISU South Farm. We hit next. And then we will select the rate that we're going to be applying that 32%. So we're going to apply it at 10 gallons per acre. If you have a prescription file that you have created through Agrian Prescription Creator, like what we had gone over earlier, this is where you would do it. So you just add prescription file, and then it would bring you to your files page, and you select what file you will be using for that prescription, and that will send it right out to you. Now, if you have any guidance lines that you were wanting to bring in, you could either select all or include all guidance lines up here, or we can select specific ones down towards the bottom here. So let's select a couple of our different guidance lines. Now you'll notice at the top here, it actually filled in that dark green star. That is the line that will pop up first on that 4600 display when you pull into the field after using that, after using Work Planner and pushing it out. So let's say, we've already said that we want to enter in on the north side of the field. We can go back in here. We can see which guidance line we're going to be using right when he enters into that field, and we'll want to star that one so that that's the first one that pops up. So now we'll go ahead and hit save in the bottom right. And now we have our work created. So if you wanted to send it to your equipment, you would select the checkbox here, and we would hit send to equipment. And then you would select that and push it. Right now, we don't have it fully up to date, so we're not able to send it. So as you can see here, it says firmware update required. So it'll just take a little bit of time and a little bit of updating, and we'll be able to send that out. So now we can see the files being created, and we hit done. So another thing, if you wanted to go back and edit that piece of work, we'll just select or click on South Bluff here. On the right-hand side, you hit edit. And then we can change it to 32%, or let's say we wanted to change it to a different application chemical. We can change it to Durango DMA. Or we wanted to change the machine that it was going to. We could go in here, select that drop down here, and we would change it to a different machine. So maybe we change the work order. We can go in here, we can change what work order that number that was, and we can go from there. Additionally, if you click on field details up here, we'll be able to change what the application rate was on there. Maybe we wanted to change it. Maybe we were going to a dry applied fertilizer. If you had a dry product selected, you would be able to go in here and change it to pounds per acre or tons per acre. Or if you wanted to change out which guidance line you were wanting to select, we can select that from here and then hit save. So that completes the plan portion of this.